Hello and welcome back to Open Everyone. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and our next guests represent Community Access, a non-for-profit organization that expands opportunities for people living with mental health issues through many services. And every year, Community Access hosts the New York City Mental Health Film Festival, which is all about shining a light on mental health. And through this film festival, they've been able to birth Changing Minds, which is a young adult film festival geared more towards the youth. And the goal of both film festivals is to spark a conversation and reduce the stigma of mental health concerns. And joining us to tell us more about these events, we welcome New York City Mental Health Film Festival and Advocacy Coordinator Carla Rabinowitz and Community Access Senior Communications Associate William Glidden. And thank God I didn't stumble on any of those tongue-twisting words. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Yes, and I must say, the work that you're doing is so needed. And please do share how long you've been with this organization.
I've been with the organization over 15 years, and the Mental Health Film Festival is 14 years old. It is a film festival that brings light to mental health, but reaches out to everybody who loves films, right? So we have a saying in our film festival: if the film doesn't make you laugh or cry, it's not going to be in your film festival. We have over 100 submissions so far. We have well-made films that touch on mental health, but are just really good films. So last year, half of the people didn't have a connection to mental health. It's about raising awareness about mental health while having an excellent time and building a community through film.
And so are you involved with both film festivals?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to get to know you a little bit before
Sure.
we start talking further. And so your name, William Glidden.
That's
and
right.
so William, your involvement as the Senior Communications Associate, what does that mean?
Well, I am here to help Carla with whatever she needs in terms of promoting the festival and doing things like this, talking to you about just why it's such an important event. And then 4 years ago, we had the idea that we should have a higher emphasis on amplifying the voices of young people in particular. So we launched the Changing Minds Young Filmmaker Competition, and we've been doing that in combination with the festival which Carla launched.
So how many films do you feature?
We feature about, the main film festival is about 11 to 14 films, runs from 9 to 5. It's going to be Saturday, October 19th, usually 3 long films and a bunch of short films.
Oh, nice. And so just out of curiosity, being in the business, aside from the film festival aspect of it, do you see a change in mental health consciousness?
Do I see a change in mental health consciousness? I think that a lot of famous people are a little bit more open. So for instance, a couple of years ago, we got a film, Mind Game, which is about the history, the documentary of Shamika Holzclaw, who's a WNBA player who made a documentary about her struggles with mental health. We've had some other people in the sports arena come out about mental health, people in England, the royal family, and that helps. And that's all about what the film fest is about. First of all, it's about having a good time. You're going to watch some great, funny, good films, some serious films, but also just to let people know, mental health recipients aren't others. It's in all of us.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's the reason why I was asking, right? So, William, you can answer this question. Do you find that people are becoming, I guess, a little bit more open about just the different versions of mental health issues, right? Because right now, in my opinion, I'm seeing a lot of people being diagnosed with PTSD, depression, anxiety, whereas I didn't see it as frequently before.
Sure, and to Carla's point, I think the fact that there are a lot of high-profile people who are using their platforms to just let other folks out there that they're not alone has made a huge difference. I know for my generation, discussion of mental health issues is not a very taboo thing. And I think the sooner we get people talking about these things and normalize that and make it not such an anomalous thing that you can talk about what's going on with you, the better off people will be down the line.
And so do any of these films include the issues that we're struggling with as far as gun control and the next generation and their access to just violent ways of being?
Yeah, so we had some great films last year. One film was a guy who lived with manic depression, and you see his kind of violent episode. It's all about his relationships, how he has to repair his relationship with his girlfriend, ex-wife, the kid he loves. Another film from a long time ago was called The Wrong Bodega. I don't know if anyone's heard of that film. It's a short film. It was about a young man living in a tough neighborhood, and violence was the go-to thing. And he had to make the decision, is he going to college and moving away from all his friends and everything he's already known and, you know, supporting his family? Is he going for that opportunity, or is he going to stay with his crowd and live that kind of life? And I think Wrong Bodega really spoke to the, sometimes living in neighborhoods can be a geographic kind of stress that can cause mental health.
Right, I get it. It's the domestication aspect of being a victim of your environment or a subject of your environment,
Right.
and this is what basically you know, and to some in that immediate environment may be considered normal, and it normalizes a person's way of being, and then stepping out of it, you kind of realize.
Right.
I mean, I think that's the issue we have with America in general. That's why I keep asking the questions I'm asking.
Right, and one of the young filmmakers from last year did make a film about surviving a school shooting. So that's a very, obviously a timely issue that a lot of young people are forced to think about, unfortunately.
And what about social media? I also feel that social media plays a strong role in mental wellness. Anybody have any comments on that?
What do you think, Carla?
Film-wise, I'm saying, just, you know, if you have anything that touches upon the topic of how people are living in this alter reality and basically focusing on other people's gains or wins that aren't even necessarily true, and then of course making themselves depressed in the process.
Yeah, so we do have a lot of films. I can't say if we're going to show these films, but of the 100 film submissions so far, we do have a couple of films about bullying. We had a film about bullying last year. It seems that bullying is a hot topic because, you know, when I was younger, I'm very old, and when I was younger, you know, we went to school, we played outside, we did our homework, and then that was it. And now you know, kids are tuning into the computers all day and the social media. So that was a film that we are considering about bullying and the effects of you go home and the whole bullying thing is still on your computer all night long.
Right, right.
Yeah, I think a big theme in the films we've gotten from young people in particular has been about just being able to reflect honestly on what's going on inside. And a big issue with social media, as you bring up, is your insides and your outsides aren't quite in sync. The thing you want to project to the world of, like, I'm doing great, is not always the reality. And being exposed to that and inundated with that all the time can, as you mentioned, have an effect on your mental health because you think that, oh, these other people have better lives than I do.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, there was a time where people just looked to celebrities for that, but now there's this other alter reality in where you're bombarded with all kinds of information, and then it leaves you in doubt about your own existence.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Well, going to what you said about, you know, films that talk about mental health, in the Film Fest we show a few films, we have a discussion with the directors, then we take a break, films, discussion with directors. Last year we had some of our short films are better than our feature films. We had a film about PTSD, right? A guy gets back from Iraq, he's in a restaurant, he has a flashback, he thinks he's going through the war zone, and how another person in the restaurant kind of helps him out. It's called 15 Feet to the Door. Then we had a really funny film about group therapy. A lot more people are going to therapy now.
Right.
And it was hysterical. It was called Centered.
Relax.
It was called Centered, and it was about like the cutbacks, like a male therapist was leading the women's group and all the antics of going on of the women in the women's group. So these aren't always, you know, we try to have positive portrayals of people with mental health. And the Film Fest is not a preachy kind of film place. It's a place to go, watch some films, have a good time, and, you know, create a community through film lovers about mental health.
I love it. Thank you. And thank you for being here and sharing it with our viewers. And thank you for making it relatable to our reality. Right. All right, you guys, once again, the deadline submission for the New York City Mental Film Festival is August 31st, 2019. And for more information on the film festivals, you can visit mentalhealthfilmfest.NYC. We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll hear about a new art exposition showcasing some of the Bronx's talented artists. Don't go anywhere.